Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, or good morning, or good afternoon, depending on when you're watching this. I'm Father Jerome, pastor at St. Raphael, and it is a pleasure to welcome you back to WSRP News in Granite Square. You didn't think we'd be back. We weren't sure whether we'd be back, but we're back. And it's a good thing. This is a great opportunity for us to communicate with you and for you to learn about what's going on at St. Raphael. Oh, sorry about the beard. I didn't have a chance to shave earlier today. We had so many calls and I was so busy, I just didn't get around to it. So that won't happen again, we hope. And anyway, good grooming, that's an important thing during sequestration in the time of the COVID. First thing I'd like to point out is that, yes, we're all working and praying that the churches will be open. And it is my hope that maybe in June we will get the word from the bishop that we are to reopen. He is cooperating, the diocese is cooperating with Governor Sununu and the continued restrictions on public access and public meetings. So we pray that soon we will be able to do that, but it is important to remember we need to be safe, we need to be prudent, and we need to be patient. So let us hope that these things happen. By the way, one of the things that I find very interesting as a pastor is how you get to discover things that you never really knew about. Now, for example, I never really knew about alates or alates or whatever they're called. Alats. I think it's alates. Maybe it's alates. I don't know. Do you know what it is? I don't know. Anyway, these are termites. These are termites with an attitude. These are termites who have entered into their reproductive stage. And you know what happens when people get to that point in mind. Some people like to go on trips and they fly away. And that's what these termites do. They develop wings, not one, not two, but 4 wings, and they fly around. And we've discovered them at St. Raphael. They're a very interesting kind of critter. A couple weeks ago, I came down, I think it was Tuesday morning, and there were dozens, there were hundreds, there were thousands, das Millionen of these creatures on the floor in the bathroom on the main floor of the rectory. It was a little disturbing. I said, well, maybe there was some spillage or something that happened from the food pantry the night before, and we tried to figure it out, but it didn't look like anything we had ever actually seen before. In due course, we called Bain Pest Control, and we were able to get some information on it, and thankfully through Larry Emerton, who came over to help us out, we were able to get the situation resolved. These were the flying termite is called the alates, and the alates who have been around as termites for 3 to 4 years before they enter into this stage, fly out of their colony to mate, and then I guess they fly back to their colony and raise their children or whatever they do. I don't really know. But anyway, termites, as you know, are a really serious problem, and it's good that we discovered it. The investigation showed that there's not any significant damage at all, but that we needed to address it, and we did. We did that through Bain Pest Control, and we were able to give, through them, a Centricon treatment around the entire perimeter of the rectory. Centricon, I believe, is a kind of, well, it's an insecticide. Let's just think of it as a lunch that we serve to the termites, inviting them to come and join. And some of them do. They come and they go to the Centricon restaurant and they have a nice lunch, and then they go back and they bring that to others in their colony. And over a period of time, they eventually get to the stage where the queen, and this is not a good queen, this is a bad queen, because she's the one who produces all of these other termites. Eventually she too has some of this lunch, and then it's the end of the termites. That's what they say, that's what we hope. So anyway, we have 28 Centricon stations around the rectory. Do you have Centricon stations around your home? Probably not, but we do. We have 28 in total, 6 in the blacktop, 1 in the basement, and the rest are in the lawn. And they attract the termites, and then the termites take the lunch and take the bait and they bring it back. So keep your fingers crossed that we are able to get through this. It's a serious problem, but happily we've got that under control. In addition, I won't go into this in any great detail, but well, we also have blocage. Blocage in parole français. It is a problem. It's a blockage in the pipes. Nobody likes that. And we had the garbage disposal back up, we had the sink back up, and somehow it affected also the dishwasher, which then flooded. Not once, but 3 times. That's another story. So I found myself like a deckhand mopping up the floor repeatedly. Happily, we also have a wet vac. We were able to use that. We haven't seen the cat lately, and we're wondering if the cat may have been wet vac'd into that, so we have to do further checking. But in any event, we've got that under control too, thanks to Walt Surratt and his plumbing company. They came by and they got us unblocked, and we're now moving along. So between the alates and the blocage and the dishwasher, it's been an interesting week. We've had other things on our mind, but not much. Mostly we've been dealing with these things. So we thank you for your prayers for us, and now you know what you're praying for, that we'll get through all of this. I'd like to turn it over now to Sammy, who is our weather dog. Sammy, or Sam, I don't know, what's Sammy? I think the dog is a girl dog. No wonder she's a little confused because the names are all over the place. But take it away, Sammy, and when you're done, make sure you put your paw up and ask for a dog treat. You deserve it. The staff here at WSRP in Granite Square began a process of historical remembering from our little parish museum. So I thought we might take a look at something that is timely, or would have been timely, but isn't timely anymore because, along with so many other things, First Communion was delayed. As you know, under the diocese, now we have a moving situation. Confirmation is given, and then First Communion. So our traditional First Communion arrangements have been changed. We'll see how that develops. But I thought you might be interested in a couple of things. One of the things the parish gives, and this was several years ago, we gave to each of the students, and we pretty much do this every year. We give a little packet which contains a missalette. So there's beautiful pictures and the story of the Mass, and it assists the child in going through with the Mass. And then there's also a rosary, which you can see here, and it's important that they learn the values of this. They've been introduced to all of this in their classes, as well as we hope at home. There's a scapular, and that's here, and then there's a little pin for the Eucharist. So the scapular is the scapular of Our Lady of Mount Carmel, the so-called brown scapular. And then there is, as I said, a little pin for their remembrance. They can wear that on their lapel. So the boys get usually a black version of this, and the girls get a white version of this. Now, one of the things I find very interesting is that we have here in our little museum also this interesting, if you can see this, is this clear, little medal, and it is a medal of a child. Papers are falling all over the place, so I don't mind that. Receiving Holy Communion with an angel visible, and it says, "Remembrance of my first Holy Communion, St. Raphael's Church, Sunday, June 4th, 1899, from Manchester, New Hampshire." So a little bit from our own history. And the students, First Communicants, would have worn that on their lapel or on their chest, or somehow they'd have had that on their dress.
I'm Carrie Stanley, Parish Secretary and Director of Liturgy at St. Raphael Parish. Since May is the dedicated month to Mary, we thought you'd enjoy some of these representations from St. Raphael Parish.
So there it is. That's another wrap up of the news from WSRP News in Granite Square. We're here, you're there, and God willing, we'll be all together before too long. Keep up the faith.